Hello, likers. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malaika. So, likers, we are doing the critical review of Mr. Aloy's series, When Marriage Becomes a Nightmare, episode 39. Yes, is it 38 or 39? So it starts with Teresa and this little girl Benny, celebrating their father who just got a job, and he was happy. So the next thing, Teresa is praising him, and later, as soon as he left, Teresa started blaming Benny, more like, you see, if only your mother would have listened, you should have been in her matrimonial home. She started bringing the past, like, you see, I told your mother, but she didn't want to listen. She didn't want, like, bringing up things that have passed. How, sorry, if only her sister would have been patient, to know that as a woman you cannot compare with a man. If she had known that, she would have still been home. But right now, to her, it was more like, let her be preparing herself, how she's going to bring up her speech of begging, her A game to beg. And Benny was shocked at her aunt. Like, Benny could not understand, because to Benny, she has noticed that every time there's a problem, her aunt always takes sides with other people except her mother. Benny wanted to know why her aunt disliked her mother so much. What was the problem? To her aunt, she doesn't dislike her mother, but the problem is, like, she wants Benny to understand that what her mother did was wrong, and if she cannot repent, she's going to regret it for the rest of her life. You understand? Because to her, it was more like, you should be able to know that this is how you want to live your life. You should be able to live an exemplary life, especially if you have a daughter, rather than wanting to to be old, like, be up there than a man. So practically she was just condemning her sister, trying to prove that she was a bad person. But thank God for Benita. Benita is that type of person that will not let you talk down on her mother on no occasion. And even though her aunt is trying to play that, oh, you will not understand because you're a child, but Benita is not she's 16, and she can understand a lot of things. She made her aunt to know that, I know you don't like my mother, but one thing I'll make you understand, my mother is a good woman, because, like, she took example of herself, that her mother is not even her biological mother, but she's taking care of her mother in the way her own biological mother could have ever taken care of her. Because where is her mother? Her mother has never come here to look for her, but she does not get it why her aunt is this bitter. In as much as her aunt tried to deny it, tried to downplay it, but Benita has already made her choice. She has already decided, because to her, it was out of the equation to see that this woman sitting here will be her aunt, and but she will not cease to talk bad about her mother, and Benita didn't like it. And all her aunt could do was to make Benita understand that, let her mother be prepared to come and beg for what. So the next thing shows Jonathan, you've gotten a job, like you say, fine. Jonathan will not sit at home with his family to plan to see how he can work and gain back his wife. Jonathan go and, like, almost buy drinks, meat, suya, chicken, this, fish, nkwabi, eshel, everything, name it. Orishi for them to sit and drink and enjoy. That's when you ask yourself that this man, when will he ever be responsible? Yes, when? Because this shows that Jonathan can never be responsible like us, no matter what we say. He can never be responsible. Why? Because he's a useless man. Yes. Because who gets a job and go and celebrate? You've not started working. It's not as if it was your first salary. No. You've not started working. And Emeka, with his bad belly like that, we know Emeka started problems by making it seems like, this guy is pretending to be happy, but he's not happy. Kenny is pretending, whereas if Kenny was a good friend, why didn't he find him a job? This is Emeka that is plotting to destroy Jonathan's life, but at the same time Emeka will want it to make it look like Kenny is a bad friend, just to distance Jonathan from Kenny, so that he will be poisoning Jonathan's mind. Like us, people should be very careful with the people that they call friends beside them. I'm serious. People should be very careful with the people that they bring by their side, because those people will ruin you. Yes. But thank God that Kenny can see through Emeka. Kenny can see through Emeka so well. Kenny was not ready to go into Emeka's game plan. Even though Jonathan was already skeptical, was already warning them that he doesn't want to hear things like that. He's not here for any fight or anything. They should just marry him. His only game plan now is to pepper his wife. That's when you know that Jonathan is the biggest foe. How do you want to pepper? You are working for somebody. You want to pepper somebody who has a successful business. How do you intend to do that? Let's be honest. Yes, you're earning 800,000. That 800,000, you have responsibilities to do. And for the way you are reckless, I'm sorry, you cannot pepper that woman. It's not possible, because you can see that she is not reckless. And that's why she's able to stand for her daughter anytime. How often have you seen her going out to jubilate, to celebrate because she has a restaurant? She wants to, to pepper anyone, or she wants to show herself? Never. Why? Because she's a woman that takes care of her business. And Kenny is trying to make Jonathan understand that you're working hard to take care of your family, not to pepper your wife, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. All Emeka wants is chaos. He is here for it. You could see to his face that he was not happy that Jonathan got a job. The next thing shows Benny and Teresa in the morning, like for breakfast, they're having boiled yam and red oil. Whereas the previous day, Jonathan had chicken. Now you see that Jonathan can never be responsible. I pity Teresa, who believes in Jonathan. And when they propose it for him, to have the red oil, the palm oil, and the yam, and salt, to him that is, poor man meal. He cannot eat such a meal. He cannot eat something like that, because it will bring down his tears. Why would the almighty Jonathan, eat something like that? He can't. To him it's no, he cannot. He has to go to work. He has to do things, but at least he will make sure he spoils them once he gets money allocated to him. You see, now Jonathan has not even started a job, but Jonathan, all he's thinking is money. Somebody like Jonathan just needs to sit at home and wallow in poverty. Yes, that is what fits people like him, because it's of no use. So the next thing shows Clara in her restaurant as usual, doing her business, taking order from her clients, who want a pot of soup, with not too much spices and all the rest. This is a woman who hustle. The only thing that interests her is the fact that she like, it is her money. She's here to get her money and all the rest. But Jonathan is there. He's not there for the money. He's there to just eat and eat. So after the lady has placed her order, she had to leave. And Benita also was coming back from school. She was very happy. She was excited, because she wanted to bring gist to her mother. At some point, this Benita is a very good girl. I cannot lie to you people. If I were Benita, the first thing that would have come out of my mouth would have been what my mother's and sister said, like what my aunt said about my mom. I'm telling people the truth, But she was so gracious that she didn't talk about it. She didn't even bother, because she knew that it was going to cause problem, and she didn't want her mother to have issues with anyone. Sometimes it's not about you not wanting somebody to have issues, but about you making somebody to be very watchful. Making them to know that this person is very dangerous. This person is not a good person. Watch out for them. Because for her to sit and talk the way she was talking, it is really ridiculous. But Clara was happy to hear that Jonathan has gotten a job, and Clara knows Jonathan so well. She knows him too well. Her prayer for him is to keep that job, in as much as she is doubting that Jonathan will be able to keep a job, because they know that it is so difficult for Jonathan to keep a job. Jonathan, has a lot of problems. He has a lot of issues that are going on with him. So there are certain things that is that practically impossible for him to handle. Keeping a job is one of those things. So his family is already aware of it. And like us, it's a sad situation, when your family is aware of something about you, of your weakness like that, Because come on, imagine your family knowing that, guy, it's impossible for this person to be able to keep a job. Them keeping a job, it's just like, it means that you want them to, I don't know, to buy themselves. So Clara was just praying that she hopes he'll be okay. The next thing shows um Debbie, and Emeka. Emeka was very saddened based on the fact that he found out that Jonathan has a job. And the fact that he found out the way he found it did because he expected that Jonathan would have told him, but he was shocked. Jonathan surprised him. Like Jonathan blindsided him. And he didn't like it, because it shows that he was slacking. He was slacking in what he was doing. He didn't do his job diligently, because if he did, he would have prevented Jonathan from getting that job. And they were not happy. Why? Based on the fact that Jonathan getting this job will prevent. Remember, they want Jonathan to sabotage Clara's restaurant, and Jonathan having this job will make it difficult for him to be able to sabotage Clara's restaurant. Moreover, it will make them financially, independent. It will make them they will be financially stable, and that is not what they want. Financial stability should be far away from that family, according to Emeka and Debbie. So Debbie just made Emeka understand that, yeah, she's not happy because she realized that Emeka was slacking. But on another note, she wants Emeka to understand that Jonathan will not be able to keep that job, because Jonathan, like, it's rather unfortunate when people know you too well. When people know it too well, it's bad for you. It's really bad for business. So she made Emeka understand that Jonathan will not be able to keep that job. Why? Because you know um because Jonathan sabotages it, like he self-sabotage. That she would desperately want him to beg, but it unfortunately will not be possible. For him to keep the job, and he will beg when the time is right. She said right now, to her it was more like right now she has more reasons to, because she's remembering that the slap that Debbie, Jonathan, and Clara gave to her. It hurts her. It hurts her so badly. She's not happy about it. So by all means she wants them to pay for it. So what way can they pay? By not bringing them down. But they say as it comes to Jonathan's job, they should not. She told Emeka not to worry, excuse me, because she was like, Jonathan on by himself, on his own, will do the job. You understand? So they both talked about their experiences. Emeka laughed. Emeka mocked Debbie, because Debbie's own was worse than his. He fought with Jonathan, whereas Debbie, not only fought with Jonathan and Clara, but also with their little brat. Because to them, that girl, I don't know what that girl really did to them. Or is the fact that the girl is outspoken like her mother? I don't know what the girl did to them that they have so much hatred against that child. She is just a child. And I'll prefer a child. It's a 16-year that is very respectful but outspoken, that will speak her mind the way she feel it's okay. Yeah, she was wrong for slapping her dad. Even for slapping this woman, she was wrong. But sometimes there are some adults that will do things, that will warrant them being slapped to reset their memory. It was very wrong of her. I cannot lie to you. I will not tell you people that it was right. It was very wrong. But sometimes some adults are putting themselves in that situation. So the next thing shows Hanks, that's he's in his office working, and suddenly the door opened. It was Clara who came in to see Hanks. People know that ever since that incident at the hotel, Clara and Hanks haven't met up. They have been avoiding each other. Clara has been on her lane. But realizing that this story might be a setup, after the interview that Hanks granted, and seeing how Hanks is protecting her daughter, seeing how Hanks is trying his best to make sure that everything is okay and all the rest. So it would have been greedy of her not to try to approach Hanks to talk to her. So she went there to thank him and to apologize as well for not believing him. Because sometimes that's why when it comes to me, for instance, I pick offense when people that are close to me do certain things. You understand? Why? Because these are people that are supposed to protect me. my family, my friends. But when it's online, when I'm like, maybe you comment on my posts or you do certain things, or somebody outside that does not really know me insult me or say so, I don't pick offense. No, because you don't know me. If you really knew me, you wouldn't insult me. You understand? So definitely Hanks got, like, he was disappointed because Clara is supposed to know him. They've dated, it's true, people change, but you're supposed to know what people can do and what they cannot do. So that was the only, anger of Hanks, because to him, Clara is supposed to know that he will buy first before trying to hurt a child or anyone at all. But it's all good. It was all good because I was glad that he didn't care. He forgave Clara, and make Clara to understand that next time, just try, to find out first. Do not react. Don't react quickly just because something is going on, because you might sabotage things yourself without even realizing it, you know. And he was right. Clara reacted swiftly. It makes sense. It's understandable. Also, she's a mother. We women, we are very emotional. It's normal. We are emotional beings. She reacted as a mother. And the good thing about this entire thing is that Hanks himself understands. He understood the memo. He knew that being a mother, it's not easy for Clara. She has to react. She's supposed to react regardless. you know so, but he just urges her to think properly next time, to want to check before reacting, because it will help. You know, like as I'm really happy that Clara, swallowed her pride, because this is a man that is trying to clear your daughter's name. In as much as Hanks on his high horse doesn't care, who went and resigned. If you ask me why Hanks resigned, till now I can't tell. You know, to me, what he would have done was just to ask why. Sorry, Jonathan resigned. I can't tell. To me, what he would have done was just to ask for permission to take some time off to do the investigation, so that there won't be conflict of interest. Stuff like that before anything. Like as we are going to end this video, thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's why I always say, be careful, be mindful of your surroundings, be mindful of the people around you, because people around you, are prone to hurt you faster than people that are not close to you. Please always protect your mental health. Take care of yourself. Okay. And on this note, I'll have to say bye, guys.